professional education subject po. So we'll be learning different concepts, different Republic Acts that will surely po always appearing sa board exam. So, again po sa mga hindi nakakakilala, ako po si Angela Austria. Ako po yung magiging lecturer ninyo sa gabing ito. So, last year, September po, I took the board exam and then luckily I passed the licensure examination and rank 8. And right now, I'm very happy with the opportunity to share the learnings and also the techniques I've used in answering the board exam. And hopefully you can also adapt it and, help you in getting the correct answer. So without further ado, let's start our review. By the way po, am I audible? Am I audible po ba? Yes. Okay, thank you po. Good evening, Teacher Isabella and Teacher Chatty, and also the rest of the teachers. Now let's have number 1. During the insurgence of the pandemic, the world seemed to have turned upside down. What aspect of school curriculum was drastically modified? Again, during the insurgence of the pandemic, the world seemed to have turned upside down. What aspect of the school curriculum was drastically modified? We have A, written curriculum, B, content of curriculum, C, the assessment of learning, or D, delivery of curriculum. Ano nga ba yung na-change during the pandemic, when the pandemic happened? Teacher Isabella answered D. Teacher Jasmine also answered D. How about the rest? Teacher Olive, D also. D? I'm also a product of the online learning, the pandemic. I was first year college when this happened. And it's very, very challenging. Super. Teacher Rika, Teacher Gerald, and Teacher Ramelin also answered letter D. And Teacher Marlon. Okay, let's see if it's letter D. See? Okay, it's D. It's letter D, delivery of curriculum. So during po the pandemic, we have different mode of delivering the instruction, delivering the information, delivery of learning. We have module, we have online learning, and also face-to-face learning. When we say module po, it can be distance learning. What are the distance learning? Kasi baka ma-confuse po kayo. Distance learning can either be online or module. Okay po, kasi when we say distance learning, you are not learning or having a face-to-face encounter, or you don't have any in-person interaction with your students. So distance learning can be modular. We have module or online learning. And when we say module is a self-directed learning. And you do not meet physically, and it's a one-way learning and also flexible. When I was in first year, second sem, that's when the pandemic happened. And then, kinat na talaga yung face-to-face class. So before, it's actually very challenging kasi it's really a drastic change. Like, no one really assume that will happen. So walang enough resources, lack of resources, just like laptop, the internet, and I was also in the province that time. So it's the data, hindi pa kami nakapag Wi-Fi noon. So wala pa kaming Wi-Fi connection noon. So it's actually very challenging. So there are 2 mode of learning that is being offered to us sa school sa university namin. It can be either online learning or modular. So I opted for modular. So in modular po, it's self-directed learning kasi no teacher talaga. Like they will just give you, like for example, a module, or maybe a textbook, a book. And then nandun na yung set of learning activities, learning of experience. So it's self-directed kasi you have to really, you have to learn on your own. You have to read and then answer the activities in that module. And then after that, there are just meron lang pong specific time na, for example, on July 1, yan yung time na ibibigay nila yung module and they will just deliver it, or the carrier will just give it to us in a specific place, in a specific time. And then the mode also in getting our answers para my grades kami, they will give us deadline. So for example, on September, kukunin na yung module, and then that's the time now they can check our answers. So, ganun po yung module. It's really self-directed. Walang teacher na magtuturo. So, there's no immediate feedback also kasi walang teacher eh. So, um, you have to really, need nyo pang mag-chat if ever you have the resources. And then, it's not a guarantee also that they can reply right away. So, no immediate feedback. And it's actually flexible. Why? Because you answer on your own pace. No? Regardless, kailan mo gusto or what, as long as you submit it on the deadline given to you, and then that's good to go already. Yan po yung module. Then when we say online, it can be two. No, we have synchronous and asynchronous learning. When we say synchronous, it's real time. No, just like what we are doing now. We are having a synchronous meeting. But when we say asynchronous po, ano pong mangyayari? For example, I will just send you this PowerPoint. I will just send you a handout, and then you'll be the one reading it. So it's not real time. Okay, but still, you have to use a modern technology. Not just like your laptop, your phone, maybe. So yun po yun. And that it can be real time, for example, just like now, synchronous. If you have questions, then I can cater and address to that right away. No, it's flexible also, for example, if we have asynchronous, just like modular, but module, it's physical. No, you have physical notes, but in asynchronous, it's done online. No, the activities are sent online. So it's flexible because you have to if you just have to submit on the day of the deadline. So regardless where you are, regardless anong time gusto mong sagot, you answer it, then you can do so. But sometimes online learning lacks of immediate feedback, especially if we have asynchronous learning. Kasi in asynchronous, no, for example, I just give you this module or this PowerPoint or handout, and then if I'm not online that time, so it will really take time for me to answer or reply you. So there is a lack of immediate feedback also in online learning. In online learning kaysa sa face-to-face. Why? No? In face-to-face, we see each other physically, in person. So I can address right away to your questions. So there's really a physical interaction between students and teachers, and it's done in a physical classroom. Because here, no, we just meet online. It's not a physical classroom, but an e-platform, an online platform for us to meet. So if we are in a physical setup, physical classroom, so there's really an interaction between us. No, like there's really an immediate feedback. You just have to raise your hand. You just have to ask questions, and then I can answer that right away. Unlike to modular, or if we opted to modules or online learning, it would really take time. Except if we will have synchronous, no? Synchronous class. So right now po, ano po yung ginagawa natin? Is it asynchronous or synchronous? Teachers. It's, okay, we're having, yes, synchronous. Very good. So now let's have number 2. Very good, teachers. Everyone got the correct answer. Which of the following terminologies that relate to curriculum in recent times does not belong to the group? Okay? Actually, this is very trend. No, kasi itong Zoom meeting, Google Meet, this just happened during the pandemic. No, before this, or before the pandemic, wala tayong ganito eh. Just physical interactions, physical class. So that's why this is actually also a controversial one, and then a lot of issues also with this because not everyone is privileged enough to opt to online learning, no? So again, ano po dito yung anong terminologies in the options below do not relate in the or does not belong to the group? A, blended learning delivery. B, bichronous learning or bichronous learning. C, hybrid learning, or D, none of the above. Anong terminologies ang hindi nabibilang dito, teachers? Is it A, blended? B, bichronous learning? C, is it hybrid? Or D, none of the above? Everyone is connected, or everyone or all here in the option is related. What's your answer, teachers? Blended, bichronous, or hybrid? Or D, none of the above? Torn? Si Teacher Isabella, torn siya between D or D. Teacher Isabella, ano na, you decide what's your answer kasi we cannot shade half, no, half B or and half B. Teacher Jasmine, B. Ano yung nasa heart mo, Teacher Isabella? Teacher Christia, or Teacher Olive, Teacher Gerald, B? Ano po? Anong terminologies dito yung hindi nabibilang sa grupo? Blended learning, bicronous learning, or bicronous, C, hybrid, or none of the above? Now, this is a new learning for us. Okay, let Maris Rakalat the group. Mag-B na lang ako ha, pero parang B. Okay? Okay. Should I reveal the answer? Ganyan po talaga yung Prof. Ed teachers. O, Teacher Isabella, B na siya. Ganito talaga yung Prof. Ed. Pero, by. Ano nga ba yung by, teachers? From the word itself, by. Okay, let me reveal the answer. The answer is letter 2. It's letter D, teacher. None of the above. Why? Ano po ba yung blended? Yeah. By sync and async. Very good, Teacher Marlon. Tumpak ganern. You got it right. Nerd. Yes, they are the same. None of the above po does not belong to the group. Why? When we say blended, it's a combination, right? It's in our ratio. Blended learning po means it's also known as hybrid. No, it combines online and in person. But when we say hybrid, it also combines hybrid. Sometimes merong in person, sometimes online. And yan po yung ginagawa namin sa, for example, ako po, I'm studying or I'm pursuing my master's degree. Then kami ay ano po, blended learning kami or hybrid. Minsan po there are schedule that I followed my heart when my heart was in the wrong. Sometimes po kaya po nasa ibabaw yung mind natin kasi it should not be heart all the time. Kasi minsan kayo mga babae, we just follow our heart. So, yun po yun, no? Hybrid, in-person, a combination of in-person classes and online activities. And by, no? From the word itself, it combines asynchronous and synchronous learning. Yung difference lang po niya sa hybrid is that ang hybrid po, in-person or physical classes, face-to-face classes, and online classes. In bicronous po or bicronous learning, it's online learning, but it combines asynchronous and synchronous learning. So again po, they are still connected or related po with mode of delivery. Okay? So I hope po meron tayong na-learn, new learning for this review session. So again, ang answer po ay letter D, it's none of the above. I'm wondering no, kung sa TikTok live natin, meron bang nakakuha ng correct answer? Okay. Now, for question number 3. Which of the following standards for teacher quality in the Philippines is being used to design, implement, and evaluate outcomes of learning for beginning and experienced teachers of DepEd? Is it A, wow, ang bilis ni Teacher Marlon, A, PPST, B, NCBTS, C, CMO 74-82, D, CFTC, or A. Oh, I'm happy na a lot of us are familiar with PPST. A, okay. The other teachers also answered letter A. A from Teacher Gerald. Okay. Let's not, okay. It's PPST, letter A. Paano po yung PPST? Please remember this one, teachers. This is always, kasi po, once you become a licensed teacher, or even now, no, we are already teachers. So this is very important for us to know. Kasi po, ito yung binibasean natin. Ito po yung, dito tayo nagbe-base for us to become a quality teacher. Because we cannot give a quality learning if we ourselves no, is not a quality teacher. So ano po yung PPST? Sa board exam po, one time sa akin po, meron po talagang numbers. What does PPST stands for? So, merong sometimes sa standards, walang S. So, please remember this, teacher. PPST stands for Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. May S po yan. Again, Philippine Professional, yes, Teacher Chatty. Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. And anong DepEd order niya? DepEd order number 42, series of 2017. Alam niyo po ba, before PPST, NCBTS po tayo. No? NCBTS. So, ang PPST po, it's like a modified or re-enhanced, no, or enhanced NCBTS. It is built, the PPST po ay built from NCBTS. Yes, standards. Standards for teachers. So, ngayon po, before NCBTS, ngayon po PPST yung binibase natin. So, ano nga po yung meaning ng PPST? Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. Anong DepEd order? DepEd order number 42, series of 2014. Kasi minsan po, in the option, baka hindi po nila gamitin yung baka hindi nila gamitin yung PPST, NCBTS. Instead, they will use the DepEd order po. So again, you remember, ano nga yung DepEd order ng PPST? PPST, Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers, DepEd order number 42, series of 2017. So again, this defines the teacher quality in the Philippines. So I will not be really going one by one to PPST because it will took us a lot of time, but nasa video lecture po natin yan. So you watch the video lecture and you will really learn a lot po. Kasi this is something, this one po, ito po yung dapat hindi nyo makalimutang i-review. Yung PPST po. Kasi I'm sure there's really a lot of items in professional education that will come out, basing from this DepEd order. Okay? So please study PPST, Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. So you go to DepEd order number 42, series of 2017. You watch our video lecture so that you can understand this deeply or thoroughly. So yung PPST po, it sets clear expectation for teachers, for us teachers, in going through professional development, in engaging ourselves in continuous professional growth, and also uniform measure for assessing teacher performance. So again, remember po, yung PPST, how many domains? There are 7 domains. Yes, very good, 7 domains. How many strands? Remember this, please? 37 strands. And under nyan po, there are 4 career stages. Yes, very good. Yun po yung beginning teachers, proficient teachers, highly proficient or career stage 3, and career stage 4, yun po yung, distinguished. Yan na po yung pinakamataas na career stage. So again po, PPST, DepEd order number 42, series of 2017. Ilang domains? 7 domains. Ilang strands? 37. Ilang career stages? 4. Ano po yung PPST? It defines the teacher quality in the Philippines. So ito po yung PPST. So for you to know also the basis or the foundation also of the PPST, so I have here a comparison kung ano na yung changes from NCBTS to PPST. So before, ito yung NCBTS. Yan po yung binibase ng teacher quality ng mga teachers noon. But then, it was changed and being improved and enhanced through PPST. So kung sa NCBTS, Social Regard for Learning, nandito na po siya sa learning environment, community linkages, and then ito. So let's how to annotate. Hindi na lang ako mag-annotate. So ito na po yung new, yung PPST. Domain 1, Content, Knowledge, and Pedagogy. Domain 2, Learning Environment. Please po study this one, PPST. Domain 3, Diversity of Learners. And each domain teachers, there are strands. And then you study the strands also because there are some questions in LET na it will tell you what domain talks about when we say respecting the diversity of learners. So you will know what domains. And the options po ay mga domain. Sometimes they will not say content, knowledge, and pedagogy. The options will just be domain 1, domain 2, domain 4, domain 6. So you have to really memorize and familiarize and understand really what the domains wanted to convey or imply to us teachers. So domain 4, it's curriculum and planning. Domain 5, assessment and reporting. Domain 6, community linkages and professional engagement. And domain 7, professional growth and professional development. So if you look at the NCBTS, you can see that there are really changes, and it's being enhanced. So again po, PPST is built on NCBTS, but now we are basing to the PPST. Okay? So there are 7 domains. So I'll give you an example for the strands. Oh, sorry. sorry, here that. Okay, for the strands, for example, let's have domain 1 as an example po. Content, knowledge, and pedagogy. So in strand 1, no, we have content knowledge and its application within and across curriculum areas. Sometimes so ito yung question sa board exam namin po noong September. This I forgot no what's really the verbatim question, but it's more on this talks about the use of research in your teaching instruction. So if you do not know the domains, it would really be hard for you to answer that. So ano po, research based. So I scanned no in my mind the domains. Then what are the strands under that? And then research based knowledge, the use of research in teaching instruction or in delivering the instruction. Okay. So it talks about domain 1, content knowledge and pedagogy. So sometimes it's like that book. And then strategies for promoting literacy, or for example, they will just give you a situation that talks about to study numeracy and literacy. So that's why you have to really know the domains and the strands. So again po, memorize the PPST. As much as possible, you memorize na lang po. Okay? So, ito, strand 1.1, strand 1.2, strand 1.3, the positive use of ICT, domain 1 po yan. If it talks about strategies po, no, pedagogies, strategies, no, pedagogies. So that promotes literacy and numeracy, domain 1 na. Domain 2, ano nga yung domain 2? Domain 2, learning environment. So it's preparing the environment, right, that is conducive to all learners. So if the question or the STEM talks about that, then you'll know already. If it's also about assessment, assessing, no, if it talks about assessment, authentic assessment, performance task, you know already what domain. It's domain 5, assessment and reporting. Okay? So let's go also to 4 career stages. We have career stage 1, career stage 2, career stage 3, and career stage 4. So I will not be talking much about this one. You watch our video lecture. Okay? So hindi pa po nakapag-enroll, nakapag-inquire na kayo and enroll kasi nandun po lahat. Even the clues that you can use that will come out in the questions po sa board exam, no, we have also included that there. So you watch the video lecture over and over again. So career stage 1 po, beginning teachers. Dito, the teachers already acquired the requirements or qualifications, acquired the qualifications of a teacher. For example, the teacher is already a licensed professional teacher. So ganun po. In career stage 1 also, this doesn't mean no lesser than the other, like very less or like negative. Because sometimes if it's the first stage, we think of it as like negatively. But in career stage 1 po, the teacher here already have a strong understanding with the content, okay? With the skills also. No, already have the skills, the teachers here. So meron din po yan, lumabas sa board exam, strong understanding of the content of the subject. So, kasi may strong understanding, we disregard na the beginning teachers. No? We go directly to proficient. But again po, strong understanding of the subject content. Still, you are in career stage 1. Okay po? In career stage 2, proficient na yung teacher, no, when it comes to the skills, application of skills, and then, you watch na the rest of the discussion in our video lecture. In highly proficient, the teacher collaborates with the other teachers, and then they are mentors already with other teachers. Yun po yun. And then, and there are other definition for this one. Career stage 4, this is the most pinakamataas na stage na distinguished. You are not only locally or just in your school, your impact goes over globally na. Like for example, the research, you as a teacher you already contribute something internationally. You have linkages outside the country, globally, and then you are mentor already. You are a collaborator already sa in a bigger scope. Okay, so that's career stage 4. So sometimes kung walang beginning sa choices and then you feel or you think that the answer is beginning teacher, but merong novice, yan po yan, the same na po yan, novice or newbie, beginning, novice. So if walang beginning, you can have novice teacher po. So again, 4 stages, 37 strands, and 7 domains. in PPST. You study the PPST po. And then you watch our video lecture to understand each deeply. Okay, let's move on to question number 4. Curriculum experts recognize that to develop the whole child, teachers should use teaching learning methods that allow A, cooperation and individualism, B, competition, individualism, collaboration, C, competition and individualism, D, cooperation and collaboration. Again, to develop a whole child, anong teaching learning method should you allow? No, if you have to choose in the options below. Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Is it D? Teacher Jill and Teacher Jasmine answered letter D. How about the others? D also? D, Teacher Rika? Teacher Olive? C? Teacher Gerald? D? Ipo? How about the others? A? Oh, the answer po ay letter B. Again po, the whole child. I know this sounds very idealistic, no? The letter D, cooperation and collaboration. But again po, to develop a whole child, teachers, you have to consider a lot, no? Different factors, different aspects, not just group works, not just group activities, but you also have to do sit works, no, individual activities. You also have, we should not disregard or how do you say, walain yung mga traditional methods. Again po, they should be complementary. So competition, individualism, and collaboration is the answer. Why, teachers? When we say competition, it doesn't mean that it's actually it negates the collaboration. But competition is a healthy competition for them to also understand, because in real life, no, competition, having healthy competition is very important. You have to prove yourself, you have to do things, no, in your best effort. So competition, and it's also actually appearing in the classroom, teachers, right? Even us, no? Sa atin, merong competition, but it's a healthy competition that will actually help you strive for more. So competition, a healthy competition, is a factor to develop a whole child, no, for them to strive. Next, individualism. Sometimes, teacher, we should not only focus on having group activities. Individualism also refers to respecting their individuality, their uniqueness. Meron talagang mga learners that are not, what? Really good when it comes to collaborating with others, with group activities. So there's also respect, this is also respect with their learning preferences. No, individualism also talks about that, their learning preferences. Dito na also pumapasok yung differentiated instruction. Okay? So sometimes po, we let the learners answer on their own, in their place. For example, sit work. No, having an individual activity. Even us, we give that, right, teachers? Sa classroom natin, we give individual activities. And then sometimes collaboration, so that they would also know that there's teamwork, no, to develop the skills of camaraderie, to develop the skills of cooperation. We have collaboration through group work activities. Sometimes big number or small number, no, small group activities or big group activities. So again, teachers, to develop a whole child, it should be competition, individualism, and collaboration. If you think about it, 1, 2, and 3. Individualism, focusing on yourself. Competition, with the like 2 or more. No, you have to also consider that, because in that sense, they learn to strive more, or to put more effort. And in collaboration, they develop skills, no, camaraderie, cooperation, and also teamwork, no, helping one another and collaborate with other people. So again, competition, individualism, and collaboration is the answer. Hindi lang po tayo magfo-focus May specific theories po ba na nagsabi nito? This is actually based po sa Lorimar. Lorimar, I do not know, but I would suggest you read Lorimar po, Lorimar books. Nandun po yan. Let me see if I included. Okay. Okay. So I'm not really with the theories po. It does not really talks about walang specific theory that talks about individualism, like ikaw lang mag-isa. Pero for example po yung cognitive theory ni Jean Piaget, right? Yun po. It talks about the child only. So how they construct knowledge, how they absorb knowledge. So yun po yun, like it already talks about how the child can absorb knowledge on their like individually without others. When we say naman po collaboration, no, it talks about, for example, yung kang Lev Vygotsky, wherein the environment, no, or sociocultural, wherein the environment really plays a very big or important role in developing a child. No, the importance of scaffolding and such. But for this, the competition, individualism, collaboration in one theory, I still cannot affirm that. But I'll try to read books, no? Look for research about that. So, and I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. I'll chat the admin and share it with you if you have GC. I'm not sure if you have GC for specific theories. But then again po, sa board exam po talaga, sa board exam, it really focuses on the foundation, the mga theories po na ito, like the sociocultural, yung mga roots talaga, no foundation of kanang philosophy on how the students or learners grow and also learn and develop. So dito po sa competition, individualism, and collaboration, I cannot give a specific theory po na nagto-talk about it, but if we base it sa mga previews or yung mga based theory na natin, yung mga binibase na natin na theory, wala po nagsasabi na competition, individualism, collaboration in one theory. Wala pa po. Pero if you just connect it to other theory, no, the theory of Jean Piaget, Lev Vygotsky, Erik Erikson, and so we can incorporate it and associate it with that. So yun po. And then I suggest you read Lorimar books. Lorimar books din po. You read it. Meron silang Gen Ed and Prof Ed. It's actually very helpful. So again po, it's competition, individualism, and collaboration.
SI stands for System International. It's actually called International System, but it originated from France kasi.
Study. Number 3, learning experiences. And then number 4, curriculum evaluation or evaluation. Our mode of instruction is supposed to be delivered in English. But once you start teaching it in basic education, it is taught in Filipino.
Darwin, you have to remember 2 important points. We have the origin of the species and then the theory of evolution by natural selection.
What are the 7 fields? Now again, just remember, the fallen rocks make art.
Ang GTM is considered one of the oldest. Okay? It's one of the oldest and one of the most traditional language teaching method.
Ito po yung mga lumalabas sa general education. Ano po? Yung mga basic na kaalaman sa asignaturang Filipino.
Okay, for question number 5. And also, I would like to add also you study the theories po, yung mga minention ko, Erik Erikson, yun po kasi yung always talagang lumalabas. Like, new icon, like ngayon, like very recent theories, wala sa board exam namin, and I think sa previous din, this year na exam, walang masyadong, about a very new. Kasi yung foundation po talaga is yung the cognitive, the sociocultural, the psychosocial, yun, and psychosexual, psychoanalytic, yung theories po na yun. So, let's focus on those. You've seen the answers. Okay. So, ano po yung RA 10968? This RA 10968 refers to, or this refers to a reference system of national standards that specifies what an individual has learned in and out of schooling. So, ano po yung RA 10968? Yan na po yung clue. If you just know the RA 10968, then alam niyo na po kung ano po yan. Teacher Jill, ano po talaga? C or B? We've talked about the PPST already. Ano nga po yung PPST? DepEd Order number 42. Series of, very good, 2017. Very good, Teacher Marlon. Ilang strands? Ilang domains? 7. Ilang strands? 37. How many career stages under PPST? 4. Very good po. Okay. So, okay. So, ang answer po dito ay Philippine Qualifications Framework. So, I want, again, ano yung self-directed learning? Anong mode of learning yung self-directed? Anong mode of learning or delivery of instruction that is self-directed? Very good, module. So you do it, modular. You search RA 10968 and you search PQF, Philippine Qualifications Framework. But again po I would really emphasize studying PPST. Yung PPST po talaga, ano na siya? If you know PPST, parang 20% or 30% already, you can answer the Prof Ed, professional education subject. Okay po? And it's only 150 questions or 150 items. Okay? So, you learn Philippine Qualifications Framework. Sa time ko walang lumabas masyado sa PQF. So, you search for the PQF and then you read it, understand? But PQF is being discussed in our video lecture. So, you please watch it. Okay? Now, let's go to question 6. As a teacher, which of the following clusters of teaching learning strategies will you use to achieve the highest level to maximize learning potential of students? A, reading, hearing, and seeing. B, watching, looking, and seeing. C, reading, listening, looking. D, doing, discussing, demonstrating. Anong strategies yung i-use mo to achieve the highest level to maximize learning? Actually, you can do the elimination method already, no? If you just look at the options, even without reading the stamp po, you can see the answer actually. You can spot the answers already. Okay, D? And all the teachers answer D? Okay. Let's see if it's letter D. Very good. Bakit po D? Do you know Edgar Dale, Cone of Experience? Okay, Edgar Dale, Cone of Experience po talks about how a child retain and remember the information. So, for example po, kung dito lang tayo sa nare-read nila, they would only 10% of what we read is what they remember. So, if they hear it, 20% lamang. If they see it, it's 30%. But if they watch it, because if you watch, you see and hear, combination of two senses already, then you can retain 50% of the knowledge, of the information. But if they say it, if you hear it, see the person talking, giving a discussion, then 70% of it, you retain the information. But what's the highest? It's 9. It's when they do. Again, experiential learning, by John Dewey. Experiential doing, application of kanang skills, that is when the child can retain better the information. No, they remember better and then they can recall better if they do it. Say and do. So according to Confucius, I see and I forget, I hear and I remember, I do and I understand. Ano, very beautiful. And which is actually true with our learners. Kasi if you just read it, the learners will just be like read it, but then if they do not really understand because they cannot apply what they have learned or what they have read, right? If they hear it, only a part of it they can remember and also see. But if they do it, no, they would remember how they do the process, the output, the product of the activity, and also the process, the skills being used to finish the output. So again po, experiential learning, doing, application. So in the options, the doing, the discussing, and demonstrating maximizes the learning potential of students because they do not only hear, they do not only see, they do not only read, but they do discuss and demonstrate. There's application of knowledge. Okay? Edgar Dale Cone of Experience. This one din po, may lumabas din po 2 items, I think. So you also read, no, you read and you study Edgar Dale Cone of Experience. Okay, this one. And it's in our handbook. And if you see here, the read, the hear, see and hearing, it only passive learning, no, because the learners just, they do not engage, they do not interact, they just hear, they just listen, look. But active if you really say and do. You do it, there's active learning. If you let them demonstrate it, if you let them do the activity, then there's an interaction, there's an involvement and engagement, engagement with the activity, with the activities, learning experiences. So again, study Edgar Dale Cone of Experience. Learning by doing. Yes po, learning by doing. Yun po talaga. Alam niyo po ba sa Prof Ed, just remember na sa Prof Ed po, ito po talaga yung what we really stand as a teacher. We do not let learners to be a passive learner. It should be active. It's not the teacher is not it's not as the teacher should be a guide on the side. Okay, the teacher should be a guide on the side. We are a facilitator. We're not dispensing information. No, unlike before. Sa time ko, when I was in elementary, that's the method, traditional method. But that doesn't mean na the traditional method is lesser. But again, it should be complementary po. Traditional with the active or with the new way of teaching, modern way of teaching, which is there should be application, not just letting the students or learners write down or take down notes, not just letting the teacher discuss only, not just letting the students hear and listen, but that's why meron ng reporting in college, right? When we were in undergraduate, we have the reporting, we say, we demo, we are the ones doing, because that is now what we are really standing for. We do not want the learners to be passive learners. We want them to be job ready. We want them to develop life skills. So in real life, they are not, we will not be listening and only listening and sitting. We will be doing something, the work. So again po, as a teacher, we are a guide on the side. We are a facilitator. What we do? We prepare the learning experiences. We prepare the learning activities. And then we let them discover. We let them explore and make meaning to everything that or to the activities that we offered. Now, for number 7, it takes a whole village to educate a child. It is an old proverb that originally came from, it takes, diba? I know that we have heard this a lot of time. Is it from Philippines, America, Africa, and China? It's actually in our undergrad studies. If you have the child and adolescent subject, you will know. And this is actually very true. It takes a whole village to educate a child. Because again, learning doesn't end in the school or in the classroom. There should be learning continuity. It should be continued or it should be continued at home. That's why teacher and parent or school and home partnership, teacher, parent, school, home partnership and collaboration is very important. We work hand in hand for the child. Okay? The answer is correct. Lifelong learners. The answer is correct. It's Africa. Again po, remember, this also came out, no? It takes a whole village to educate a child. This is from Africa. No, this is an old proverb from Africa. It takes a whole village to educate a child. Now, in education 4.8, 4.0, number 8, which statement most appropriately apply? Education 4.0. A, learning can be done anytime, any place, anywhere. B, young learners cannot benefit from technological advances. C, learning can only happen with a teacher. And D, schools should be free to traditional support materials. No, 'di ba? Again po, ano na yung ina-adapt natin ngayon? A, from teachers, Christia and teacher Rika. A, teacher Isabella. A. Ano na nga ba yung ini-integrate natin, teachers, right? Okay, very good. It's letter A. No, A is the most appropriate answer in the options below. Because Education 4.0, it talks about the integration of technology to 21st century skills. So in Education 4.0, it uses technology already, wherein the learning can be done anytime, any place, or anywhere. Just like what we are doing now. Regardless where you are, learning still happens. Learning still occurs. There's still learning. I'm at home, you're at home, maybe some is in their office listening. But then, we are all learning. So yan po yung Education 4.0. So it is an educational reform to prepare students for the future by incorporating technology into the curriculum and teaching 21st century skills. So ngayon po, no, with the advent of technology, teachers, saan ka na po makakahanap ng trabaho na kanang or yung mga office based na hindi nag-use ng technology? Kahit even us, no, in our daily lives, we use technology already. And then work becomes much easier. Work, it's very convenient to work already because of technology. We were able to communicate with other people outside the country, work to, or employers, having employers outside, no, or foreign employers because of technology. So yan po yung that is what we prepare our students to be, to become, no, learn to become a citizen that knows how to utilize technology, because that is the reality. No, we use technology, so we integrate that in the curriculum already. So again, there are 9 trends in Education 4.0. First, different times and places. Ngayon nga, it's a trend, the work being a VA, no, virtual assistant is actually already a job that really pays no, competitive salary, that has a competitive salary. So regardless where you are, as long as you have your laptop with you or your things with you, then you can work. So that's what we are also trying to practice to prepare our students. That's why we are still, even though pandemic is over na, and then there's no virus right now, but still we are using, we are having asynchronous. We are utilizing the online platform because that is the reality that we need to face. We have to know how to utilize. Next, personalized knowledge. So again, that's yun na yung nire-respect natin yung individuality ng ating learners. We create learning experiences based on their learning preferences. We have the differentiated instruction, and then free choice. We let, in Education 4.0, we let the pupils or learners focus on on the lessons that they think is very important for them. For example, in college, if we are teaching education, we should be focusing, for example, me, I graduated early childhood education. Yan po yung degree program ko. So we focus, instead of focusing really on other subjects like mathematics, really, we focus more on the child and adolescent, the child growth and development, so that we'll really gain enough knowledge or sufficient knowledge with the field that we opted to take. right? And then, so that is also what we wanted to also do with our pupils. No, just like us, also in the classroom, teachers, free choice, you give different options. For example, uh, in having an output, you give them different choices for an output, how to, for example, writing or a reaction paper. In making a reaction paper, you give options. It can be in helping them express their insight, no, in a specific movie. First, you can give them options like they can create a reaction paper, no, or an essay to cater pupils who are good at that. In option B, you can let them the reaction can be in a form of poem, no? Or in option C, it can be in a form of role play. So free choice. You give your students options on what works best for them. Project-based learning. So ngayon, we are active. No, we are letting, or we wanted our learners to be active learners. So project-based learning, that's why we have research. No, they find problems, they solve problems and come up with solutions. They discover, they explore, and they provide solutions. Familiarity in the field. So again, that's why there's free choice, so that they would also know or focus on what they are good at to strengthen, where they are good at. New pattern, data analysis. So, di ba ngayon po, we do not focus on lots. Ngayon, we do not really focus when we make assessment. Teachers, we do not go to lower order thinking skills, just like remembering, no? What is just memorizing, recalling. We go to HOTS, higher order thinking skills. We let them analyze, we let them evaluate, we let them create something, we let them predict, we let them create something new from different parts, no? Or synthesizing. So that is what we are doing now. New patterns for exams. Ngayon, hindi na multiple choice lang. Dapat meron na din, ako as a teacher also, we make options that are we make assessments differently, not just multiple choice. We also use true or false, essay, Venn diagram, and others. So new patterns for exam. Comprehensive approach. So again, comprehensive meaning the whole child. Whole child should be developed, and orientation is becoming more important. Letting them know what is the objective is very important, so that they'll know again what we are expecting from them and what is expected for them to acquire. Okay? So again po, yan po yun. In Prof Ed, just remember learning objective is very important. Comprehensive, building the whole child. Okay? And active learners sila dapat. Yan po yung Education 4.0, integrating technology in the curriculum. Okay? Question number 9. Which is considered as the turning point in the Philippine education in 2013? Oh, this one. A, Republic Act 10533. B, Republic Act 7836. Letter C, Republic Act 10968. And D, Republic Act 7722. Very good, no? Teacher Marlon is so fast. And others teacher as well. Meaning, this one should not be hindi po natin to dapat kalimutan. Itong act na to. Ano po yan? Ano po yung 10533? Okay? Yes, very good. K to 12, no? Which is our education, our system of education now. So it is Republic Act 10533, or also called as Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. Dito na po yung pumapasok yung grades 11 and 12 na merong additional years, no? And then dito na din po pumapasok yung like the use of mother tongue in the instruction for grades 1 to 3. And then what's the mga prerequisite skills that the kindergarten should have before promoting them to grade 1. So again, you read this DepEd order number 1. Okay? This DepEd order 10533. Enhanced Basic Education. Ito po yung K to 12, ha? Okay. Question. Merong clue dito si Teacher Chatty na you can use. 10, 5, 3, 3. You just add everything. Wow, a very good, Oh, this is a very good way also to, a way to remember or to retain. 10, 5, 3, 3. You add every number, all number, then it will be equal to 12. K to 12. Wow. Okay, question number 10. What was the major reason for the additional 2 years of basic education as the senior high school? This is very controversial, no? A, to provide global comparability of the Philippine education. B, to comply with constitutional provision. C, to enable basic education learners to mature before college. Or D, to reduce the college students' population. Ano nga ba po yung reason? Ito po ba para we can cope up with other countries as well? Because we are only, I'm not really sure, pero isa tayo sa mga, sa mga countries na hindi nag-a-adapt ng K-12 before this happened. Or is it just to comply for this provision, constitutional provision? Or para maging mas mature tayo? Diba? Because before, at 20, I think at 20 or 18, if I'm not mistaken, you graduate already. You can work na kasi walang 2 years. Walang additional 2 years. But now, you will graduate, ako? 21, I think. I graduated college. So, or to reduce the college students' population. Okay, you got it all, teachers? It's letter A po, to provide global comparability of the Philippine education. So again po, kasi po, before we do not have this additional 2 years, let's say for example, we graduated college, and then if we work to other countries, they will not credit it because we lack 2 years, according to their education system. That's why they also added that they have implemented this education system or this provision because for us to also cope up with other countries. So every time or whenever we go there, yung course natin, the profession or the degree that we have is being credited. Kasi before talaga, they would not credit it. Kasi for them, we lack years of studying. So that's also the advantage or good thing about K-12 or the enhanced basic education. So we can see it here in section number 4, enhanced basic education program. It has 1 year of kindergarten education, 6 years of elementary education, 6 years of secondary. So 4 years, we have junior high school, and also 2 years for senior high. That is what is being added, the senior high. And then for kindergarten, it means year of preparatory education. So dapat 5 years old yung bata. So that is a prerequisite for grade 1. So again po, at least 5 years old. You cannot be promoted to grade 1 if you are not 5 years old. Kasi before, they walang basis talaga, when it comes to age. As long as you have the skills already, they have just basis like ano ba yung mga yung traditional or Filipino way of promoting paniniwala. Yeah. Ay, wala yung net. I hope maging okay po, Teacher Chatty. So, yun po. Ngayon po, there's 1 year of kindergarten and at least 5 years old po yung bata before they can go to grade 1 or be promoted to grade 1. Then, elementary naman, ito yung second stage ng basic ed. Meron siyang 6 years, grade 7, 8, 9, and 10. 6, yes, grade 6. Basic education, grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So, once you become grade 1, that means you are 6 years old already. Okay? And secondary, there are 6. 4 years sa junior high school po and 2 years sa senior high school. Okay? So, ito yung mga range, age range. If you in a junior or senior high school level. So, you will be around 12 and 16 years old. Okay? So, again, 1 for kindergarten, 6 years for basic education, elementary, grades 6 years in secondary, and that composes already 4 years in junior high and 2 years in senior high. Okay? Again, at least 5 years old po yung kindergarten before you can go to grade 1. So at grade 1, if the child is promoted to grade 1, they're expected to be 6 years old already. Prerequisite, meaning po, it's required. You cannot go to grade 1 if you are not, to be, maging 6 years old. So, 5 years old talaga, kindergarten yan. Okay? Now, question 11. Which of the following is shown by the learners if the curriculum is said to be effective? A, perfect attendance of learners for the whole year. B, teachers are made busy for the whole school year. C, learners can memorize their textbooks. Or D, learners demonstrate the achieved learning outcomes. Wow, very obvious, teachers, no? Wala na mas gaganda pa sa answer na letter D. Again po, teacher, we always base everything sa learning outcomes. Yun po yung learning objectives natin. Kasi po, that is our goal eh. That's the purpose why we are teaching, no, the curriculum, the lessons. We wanted them to acquire a certain or to achieve a certain outcome, a certain skills, develop a certain skills. So, hindi po natin na masasabing effective ang curriculum if perfect yung attendance nila. Right? Hindi. Now, if yung teacher ay busy, masasabi ba natin curriculum ay effective yung curriculum? Hindi. Kaya nga yung curriculum, teacher, it's changing. No, there's no fixed curriculum. Yung curriculum natin ay nag-iiba-iba depending on the need of the society. Just like ngayon, no, as we integrate technology, as we have this, we prepare ourselves, we prepare the learners to be job ready, citizen, no, life skills, to acquire life skills na, the curriculum also changes and we adapt to that. And then that's why we have the learning objectives, the learning outcomes. Those are our basis to know if they have acquired already the skills and competencies for them to be job ready, future ready. Okay? So again po, learning or demonstrating achieve learning outcomes. Paano po natin malalaman, teachers, kung na-achieve ang learning outcome? Ano pong ginagamit? How do we know, teacher, if they achieve the learning outcome? That is through, wow, very good, teacher Isabella. Very good po. That is through assessment. And then we have assessment. Yes, good job, teacher Ramlin. We have assessment, no, contextualized assessment. You study that. We have, nandyan po yan sa video lecture natin. Contextualize and the contextualized learning. Authentic learning. Meron na tayong performance-based learning. We have formative, summative assessment, and self-assessment. No, assessment as learning, assessment of learning. So yun po. Ha? You study those. Actually, nandun din po yan sa ibang video lecture. And it's actually it's explicitly explained sa po natin, video lecture. So you watch it. So how can we know if they achieve the learning outcomes? That's through assessment. So you'll learn later on the importance of learning experiences, learning outcome, and the assessment. Okay? Next, 11. How is constructive alignment manifested in the school curriculum? A. Oh, no. Sorry, teachers, but okay. Ano nga yung constructive alignment po? Sorry. Is it A, when the teacher will have finished teaching the planned lesson? B, when the learner's attention is sustained during the class? B, when the teacher's objective matches with the strategy and assessment? D, when teacher assigned the homework at the end of the lesson? Sorry po. Pero I know you know it already, teacher. No, we can actually do the elimination method also. It's letter C po. So, it's actually connected with the previous item. Ano yung constructive alignment? At ito po yung dapat pina-follow po natin, teacher. ILOs, intended learning outcomes, teaching learning activities, and assessment. So, ang constructive alignment po ay may 3 components. Ano po yung 3 components? Learning outcomes, that's the objectives, the assessment, and the teaching and learning activities. So, all should be aligned po. Ano po yung ILOs? Ito po yung what we expect the students should be able to do when they finish a lesson or a course. The teaching and learning activities, yun po yung mga activities na pinoprovide natin. Okay? The learning experiences. Yung assessment naman, that's how we measure and also assess to know if they have achieved the learning outcomes. So if they align or work hand in hand together, that's constructive alignment. First, we base it the objective, and then we plan for the perfect assessment to know how to achieve this learning outcome. And then after that, you plan for learning experiences or learning activities. Okay? First, you, yung objectives po, you craft, you create objective, you plan for the objective. Ano ba yung dapat ma-learn ng bata? For example, animals. No, identify the common animals, to demonstrate how to take good care of animals, and then you plan or you create an assessment that would target, identify, ano ba yung assessment that is best when you want to identify the common name of animals. Ano ba yung mga assessment? No, pwedeng matching type, no, you plan that. Yun po yun. Matching type, meron ding multiple choice, no, for grade 1, identifying po yan. Diba? So you plan for assessment first. And then after the assessment, kasi learning outcomes po yung center natin eh. Yung ano talaga, binibasa natin. So after you plan for the assessment, to ensure that we can achieve the learning outcome, you plan na. Ano ba yung mga learning experiences that will help me? No, that will help me in letting the learners acquire the skills that I need for the learning outcomes to be achieved. Okay? So, learning outcomes, ano po yung in-expect natin na child can do? Assessment, yun po yung we can measure the learning of the child in a specific lesson, in a specific course. And teaching and learning activities, yun po yung mga learning experiences or activities po na pinaplano natin. Na, no, the group work activities, the small group sometimes, yun po yun. Okay, so the answer is letter C. 13. Which of the following landscapes characterizes the 21st century classroom? Ano po yung 21st century classroom? A, teaching and learning are aimed to develop life skills. B, all classrooms have become virtual and remote. C, the role of the teacher has been drastically reduced. Or D, schools have slowly vanished in the society. Yes. Nakuha nyo na yung teacher, mga technique ng Prof. Ed. Actually, yan talaga yung mga sa Prof. Ed eh. Okay, very good po. It's letter A. 21st century classroom po, di ba? In 21st century, we prepare, no, the child is at the center. In 21st century, doon na tayo sa student-centered na tayo. And ano po yung need nilang ma-develop? Mga life skills. No, communication, collaboration, creativity, critical thinking. Yun po yun, life skills. We prepare them to be future job ready, to acquire job ready skills. So again po, 21st century, yun lang po yun, life skills. Education 4.0, integration of technology. Hindi naman po tayo makaka-answer ng all classroom have become virtual and remote kasi we are having hybrid, di ba po? Hybrid, bicronous or bicronous learning, blended learning. So hindi po talaga mangyayari na all classrooms will become virtual. And dito, the role of the teacher drastically reduced? No. Meron na tayong tool, no? It's an helpful tool, which is the technology. But that doesn't mean that our role has or was reduced, no, by the use of technology. Because again, technology cannot be used. No, it will not function without the use or without a teacher. And schools will never be vanished. Hindi mababanish yung schools, no? Hindi mawawala yung school teachers. So again, 21st century skills, life skills, ang ini-aim nating i-develop sa ating mga learners. Ito po yun. Ito pala eh. 21st century learner at the center. So we teach them literacy, numeracy, and which is actually sad, no? Kasi we nasa pinakamababa tayo when it comes to reading, no, literacy, and also numeracy, which is very, very sad. Ay, nako, I do not know why. Maybe because there are a lot of factors talaga eh. Some would say teacher factor, but it's really not teacher factor. There are a lot of factors, no, that would really affect, no, why Philippines is one in the lowest or one of the in the lowest rank, which is actually very sad. So again, 21st century is in the in the middle, at the center, and then these are the skills that we develop in them. To have entrepreneurial spirit, to be engaged thinkers, to be ethical citizen. Okay, collaboration, critical thinking, creativity, cultural and global awareness. Yes, very good. No, this one. Locally, nationally, internationally, and globally, they should be aware, no? Cultural relativism, digital literacy, lifelong learner, lifelong learning. Question number 5. The COVID-19 pandemic has taught curricularists alternative ways of delivering education to assure that the rights of every child will be upheld, which was not an alternative response to the pandemic. A. Is it remote learning? B. In-person learning? C. Flexible learning? D. Hybrid learning? Okay, very good, teachers. Again po, teachers, if you see not, no, meron po kasing mga ganun, except you encircle it. You encircle or line it so that you will not, you'll be reminded ba? Kasi minsan po talaga, before, ang daming words na ganyan. And then, if you will not, hindi mo notice, if you will not notice it, that would really, it's, influence the way you answer or influence your answer. So, kaya, again, if makikita yung not, sometimes they will not capitalize it. So, you encircle it so that you will be reminded na ano talaga yung focus or ano ba talaga yung question. So, ano yung not alternative dito, teachers? Very good. It's in person. Again, nung pandemic, shut down, right? Walang face-to-face learning. It's discouraged, not discouraged, but it was not allowed. So, kaya meron tayong remote learning, nag-flexible learning tayo, at nag-hybrid learning. Kasi walang in-person learning. But now, nag-hybrid tayo, no? Blended. So, question 15. When COVID-19 swept the whole world, one of the most affected sectors of society was the learner. Yes. No? So, how do most educators describe this effect? A. Learning loss. B. Learning disability. C. Learning reward. C. Learning chaos. Anong term? Anong term po yung ginamit natin to define the what happened to the learners during the time? No, and this is actually very devastating kasi po when after the pandemic, when the face-to-face classes was the face-to-face class was resumed, ang daming hindi na marunong mag-write, hindi pa marunong mag-read. In grade 2, grade 6, do not know how to read. At anong term ang ginamit natin dyan? Yes, it's learning loss. Nagka-learning loss po, no, nung time ng pandemic. So, at grade 6, at high school nga po, no, I've once talked with a high school teacher, grade 7, grade 10, still having a hard time struggling reading, writing, an essay. No, not really good at writing. No, the reading comprehension is very low. So, the COVID-19, no, how many years kaya yun? The COVID. So, it really gives us learning loss, no, for the learners. So, it's learning loss. Very good, teacher. Question 16. The keys to learning are assimilation, accommodation, and equilibrium. Who espoused this theory? A. Lev Vygotsky. B. John Piaget. C. Howard Gardner. D. Robert Gagne. Sino? B. John Piaget. Teacher Isabella answered right away. Teacher Chatty, B. Ano ba yung assimilation? Ay, ito po yung hindi nyo dapat makalimutan, teacher. You also take note of this. Ha? Hindi, A, B. Still torn between A and B. Teacher Ramlin. Teachers, please. This one is ito po yung mga foundation talaga if you wanted to know more about or learn Prof Ed, what are the lessons in Prof Ed or sa kanang questions. Do not forget this one, the assimilation, the theories, and then all theories po talaga, we included it in our video lectures. Kaya you enroll, and then if you are enrolled, you go, no, you study, you read, you listen, and you rationalize also. Yes. Okay. The answer is letter B. Okay. It's constructivist or cognitive. Constructivist. It's cognitive. Development cognitive theory. Ano po yung kang Lev Vygotsky? Yun po yung scaffolding. zone of proximal development, ZPD. No, what a child can do without the help of the adult and or with a more knowledgeable others, the MKO, and what a child can do without the help of a more knowledgeable others. You also have to study that. John Piaget po, assimilation, accommodation, and equilibrium. Kay John Piaget din po yung object permanence. Ano ba yung object permanence, teachers? Object permanence, that is, no, when the child, alam ng child na kahit nakatago, for example, the ball is at the, nasa likod ng table, but the child still knows that the ball is there, even though the child did not see or do not see that, or does not see that. Because they know that the child knows that a thing is there, even though physically they do not see it. So that's the object permanence. Okay? So meron din po tayo dyan the pre-operational kang kay John Piaget yan. Pre-operational, 'di ba? Yung mga I forgot. Basta yung like the animation wherein they put, it's like a personification wherein they put human characteristic or human traits to a thing, to an event, like the sun is smiling, something like that. And then the operational, yes, concrete operational. We also have the formal operational. So in those stages po, the thinking of the child kanang is getting abstract. They learn they do not depend already with their senses, but they also know how to think na abstractly, kanang in deductive way, and inductive way. So that's formal operation. So again po, you watch our video lecture, we really kanang explained it in details. Okay? It's very detailed there. Levi-Gotsky po, sociocultural, di ba? Ano naman yung kay Howard Gardner? Di ba po, yung kay Howard Gardner ay multiple intelligences. So this is actually yung kay Howard Gardner really paved the way on how we see children, no? How they learn. Kasi yung, di ba before po, we only focuses on cognitive development. If the child is good at school, academics, kung hindi marunong, sasabihin ng, dumb, or bobo ba? So, ngayon po, because of Howard Gardner, we see that child can be smart in different domains or in different aspects. They can be smart, no? They can be musically inclined, good at music, good at singing, arts. Some may be good at mathematics, or some are good at doing things kinesthetically. Some are good at interpersonal, no? Like communicating with others, socialization. They are good at communicating with others, maintaining relationship with other people, no? Creating relationships. Some also are good with intrapersonal intelligence. Anong intrapersonal? Good sa self mo, no? You are aware of yourself. You have this very deep yourself, self-awareness. And then, Howard Gardner, multiple intelligences. So, we can be musically inclined, no? Good at sports. So, yun po yun. Kayo, saan po kayo? Ano pong intelligence nyo? Are you good at reading ba? At music? So, again po, hindi lang po, if your student is not good at English, maybe they are good at math, right? They are good at sports, PE. So, again po, hindi natin masasabi na ang bata ay hindi na marunong just because they do not do well in a specific subject. But again, that's Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences. Robert Gagne. Ano naman yung kang Robert Gagne? 9 events of instruction. It's about curriculum, classroom instruction. So Robert Gagne, it's 9 events of instruction. You also study that. You study Levi-Gotsky's theory, sociocultural. You study Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences, and also Robert Gagne's 9 events of instruction. Okay? And John Piaget, assimilation, accommodation, and equilibrium. Ano ba yung assimilation? Okay? Assimilation is the process of taking in information into our previously existing schemas. Now, for example, we know that a cat has 4 legs. No, has fur. So if you see an animal that has 4 legs and has a fur, Then, for example, that's your schema of a cat. But then, when you see a dog, the dog also has 4 legs and has a fur. Diba? So, that is assimilation. If you can take information to your previous existing schema. But accommodation, it involves altering already your existing ideas. For example, but then the cat makes a sound of a meow. But what you saw, the sound is arf arf. So that's when you alter that, okay, not because this animal has 4 legs, has fur, then it's cat. So you understand that you add and alter and change also your schema or the way you think of an animal or of a thing. Okay? Okay, so 4 legs has fur, and then would say ow ow, so or arf, or that barks. Okay, so that's a dog. It doesn't mean that it's because there are 4 legs, then that's a cat already. So that's accommodation. When you are able to alter, to change your existing schema or idea. Okay? Equilibration, this is when there's a balance between assimilation and accommodation. So if there's a balance between what you know and then what you know and then and then what you saw, so there's balance, equilibrium with your ideas. Okay, what you saw, for example, okay, there are 4 legs, there are fur and says meow. What I saw is also the same. Okay, so there's equilibrium, there's equilibration. Okay, so that's assimilation, accommodation, and equilibration or equilibrium. So that is Jean Piaget's. Okay, so next, everyone got the correct answer. Very good. So again, you study that, you should know those theories. What do you call the image that you can easily, no, sorry, I did not edit. This one is, there has been a clamor to review the K-12 curriculum of the Department of Education. The most controversial issue that surrounds the K-12 is the, ano po ba yung controversial issue ng K-12? Why are there a lot of people against the K-12? A, additional of 2 years in the senior high school. B, the use of the mother tongue in the early years. C, lack of internet connection in schools. Or D, the overcrowded classroom due to enrollment. Ano po yung most controversial issue? Yes, very good, teacher. No, this is the additional of 2 years. Kasi po, not everyone are privileged enough. Para po sa ibang parents, dagdag gasto. Dagdag gastos kasi instead na makapagtrabaho na, makago na ng college, you have to spend more 2 years or additional 2 years for senior high. And then again, kahit nasa public school ka po, education is so expensive. The allowance, the requirements, the projects. So yun po yung most controversial issue ng pag-implement ng K-12 sa education system natin. Yung mother tongue, hindi naman po siya very controversial before implementing that. Kasi it's actually, that is what we call bridging. From grades 1 to 3, ginagamit po yung MTB, yung mother tongue ng mga bata to discuss a lesson. So that in grade 4, they have a better understanding na, okay, they can translate. And also, our identity, our national identity also will not be vanished. So mother tongue, it's not an issue. Lack of internet schools, it's not like, it actually itong mga issues na to it occurs like when it's implemented now. But when we heard the K-12 and the additional years, that's really what makes noise. So overcrowded classroom due to enrollment, it's not also the answer. So yun po yung additional of 2 years. At pag yung merong strand. Kasi aside from that, additional dagdag gastos, we lack of classroom, we lack of no teachers. Like there is no trained teachers for that. There are no teachers not trained for that. Lack of classroom, lack of resources, lack of yes. Natanggal na din ba? Right now po, I don't think natanggal na siya. It's still being used, pero it's said to be tatanggalin po. No, I joke or nawawala. Yes po. Kasi even po the teachers teaching the MTB, grade 1 to 3 teachers, yes, ano po, they are also finding it hard. And they also see na it's not really very helpful kasi parang mas nahihirapan pa yung mga pupils. Kasi they have to know. Kasi minsan po talaga, no, we are getting used to the English na, yung 1, 2, 3, and then yung mga, grabe talaga yung mga very deep words na ng mga ano natin, no? At yung language natin, it's kanang very hard, hindi na alam ng mga bata. So, parang instead of helping, it also adds kanang, not burden, but weight in kanang learning pa. So, instead of bridging, it also kanang you have to also memorize or study ano na yung kanang ano yung word sa lingwahe na to. Kasi we are getting used of using English, di ba? So, yun po yun. So, it's still, no, MTB-MLE, it's because K-12 pa rin po kasi tayo. So, it's still there, MTB-MLE. But, merong mga, no, we hear, no, there are hearsay, or like, there are some, nagpapalabas na ng mga issue or sabi-sabi na they will be kanang slowly or in the process, kanang parang tatanggalin na yung mother tongue na subject. Yes. And mother tongue, yung lingwahe, mother tongue na subject. So, yun po yun. Yeah. How about kayo, teacher? Okay lang po ba kayo sa MTB, MLE? Na language, na subject? Okay. So, question 18. Who developed the cyclic model of curriculum development? Cyclic. A. D.K. Wheeler. B. Hilda Taba. C. Ralph Tyler. D. John Dewey. I tell you, teachers, yung mga people na nasa options, you have to study these. And then you watch the video lectures kasi nandun yun. Okay? Ano yung answers niyo, teacher? Who developed the cyclic model? I did not see pa answers. Teacher Isabella B, Hilda Taba, Teacher Marlon, Teacher Ramlin, letter A. Eliminate natin si John Dewey, no? Kasi hindi naman si John Dewey eh. Okay. What's the answer? Okay, meron tayong clue dito. Cyclic. Anong cycle? Yes, very good, Will. It's letter D. It's, basta wheel po, wheel, cycle. So it's D.K. Wheeler. Kang Hilda Taba po, hindi siya cycle po, kang Hilda Taba at kay Ralph Tyler. It's linear. Linear po yung model ni Hilda Taba at Ralph Tyler. Ha, remember yan, teacher. Kang yung cycle po kay D.K. Wheeler. And then wheel, cycle. Yes. Very good, Teacher Marlon. And then kang Hilda Taba po, linear lang po, linear. Diagnosis of learners and then and so on. Linear lang. Okay? And also kang yung kay Ralph Tyler po. So here. Sorry, I think it's blurred. It's not that clear. But ito po yung cycle ni D.K. Wheeler. First po, your objective. Next, after the objective, you select the learning experiences. And then you select the content, you organize, and then you evaluate. And that it doesn't end there. After you evaluate, you go again to the objectives. You base again to the objectives. And then until you haven't reached your goal, then the cycle goes on. Okay? In cycle po, in a cyclic model, walang katapusan po yan. Ang steps ay walang katapusan. You will still go back at the very start, at the very beginning. After evaluating, you go again to your goals. and so on and so forth. Okay? Okay. Question 19. Oh, we're almost done. It's already 9:19. Teachers, I'm so happy, no? And I know this, ano talaga, yung effort nyo, hard work will really pay off. No, it will really pay off. 19. What is meant by a cyclic model of curriculum development? Is it A, the objective formulation phase leads to identification of learning experiences? B, curriculum development ends with the evaluation process? C, curriculum development starts with identification of learning experiences? Or D, evaluation phase leads once more to the identification of new objectives? Teacher Isabella, D? How about the others? Cyclic model. Ano yung answers niyo, teachers? Cycle. You read the choices, the options. Bakit di ko kayo nakikita, teachers? Teacher Rika, D, how about the others? Where is the camera? Ay, okay, it's letter. Teacher Ramlin, it's letter D po. Again, bakit? Formulation leads to identification of learning experiences. So again, ano nga po yung cyclic? Leads once more. Kasi leads once more meaning, hindi po nag-i-end. Again, we start from learning objective. We will end at learning, not end, but we will go again or start again the learning objective. We will not end in the evaluation process, just like in letter B. And it do not start also in learning experiences, diba, teacher? We started always in formulation of objectives. And then after that, learning experiences and so on. The last is evaluation, but it doesn't end there. It doesn't stop there. We continue again, we formulate again new objective, new outcomes. Okay? So again, cyclic leads once more to the identification of new objectives. Letter D. So again po, sometimes ganito po talaga yung mga questions sa Prof Ed. So you read again and again, and then you visualize in yourself, and then ano po, pwede niyo po sulatan yung, if you are a visual learner, you visualize po, you make a graph or a map or any organizer that will help you in kanang visualizing the answers. So if it leads once more, lead once more to identification of new objective. Okay, so it's cycle, no? Because learning objective is the first one. We select experience, we assess or we evaluate, and then cycle. Go back to the objectives again. Okay? Okay. Next, last number. Yee! Okay. Why is Hilda Taba's approach to curriculum development described as the grassroots approach? Remember, teacher, ha? Yung kay Hilda Taba ay grassroots approach po yan. Why? Ano po ba yung grassroots approach? Is it A, curriculum development should be a top-down process? B, it is a bottom-up process? C, it is the curriculum development is the root of subject topic identification? Or D, curriculum development is the concern of top management? Ano po ba yung tawag sa grassroots? Bakit po grassroots approach? Grassroots. Ano po yung grassroots? From the word itself. From the word itself po. Okay, teachers answered letter B. Let's see if it's letter B. Very good. Grassroots po, meaning root, no, bottom. From root to up. Okay, that's grassroots approach. Yan po yung kay Hilda Taba. Ano ba yung first kay Hilda Taba? Hilda Taba po ay, di ba, the diagnosis of learner's needs. Dito po. No, first, kay Hilda Taba po, it's linear. Di ba? Sabi ko po sa inyo before, it's linear. Linear po, one line lang po, hindi siya cycle. So, yung kay Hilda Taba po, it's diagnosis of the needs. First, you have to know what are the needs of the learners before you can formulate an objective. And then after you formulate an objective, you select the content, the lesson, and then you organize it. And then after that, after you knowing the content of your lesson, you create the activities or the learning experiences, no, to make it more engaging, interactive, and then you organize your learning objectives, no, based on kanang CAP, right? Cognitive development, cognitive, affective, and psychomotor, and then you evaluate. So again, ano yung pinaka-first? Nandun po yan sa question before, ano yung first step in kanang Hilda Tabas model. So diagnosis of needs, ha? Diagnosis of needs po yan. And grassroots, bottom up. And I guess that's all for today, teachers. I hope merong new items that also enlightened you. And I know you are also sleepy now, but I tell you, magpi-pay off po lahat ng hard work nyo. And to think this, ito po yung mga questions. Tapos na, yes po. On January din po, I hope to see you also, Teacher Isabella, Teacher Marlon, Teacher Jasmine, and the rest of the teachers, Teacher Olive, Teacher Ramlin. Sana makita ko din po kayo, no, on January. I also have another session or free online review session dito po sa ating review. So, thank you so much, and I believe po, no, 40% already in Prof Ed. You know it. You know how to answer na. So again, we are still in the process, right? Okay lang magkamali ngayon, basta hindi magkamali during the board exam, right? At Teacher Gerald, nandiyan po pala Teacher Gerald. Thank you po, teachers, and I hope to see you again. Thank you, Teacher Isabella. Bye-bye po. God bless you.